Our first speaker today is the fantastic Cheryl Chapman. I'm not going to pinch her story about what she's going to talk about, but Cheryl, the stage is yours.
My slides on, yeah? Raise your hand if you are an entrepreneur. Raise your hand if you're a small business owner with employees. Yeah. Raise your hand if you work for somebody else. Raise your hand if you're a mum, stay-at-home mum. Yeah. And raise your hand if you haven't raised your hand yet. Oh, great. That's good. I'm in the right place then. So where are you right now? Well, maybe in your life you're over here. And maybe over here you're not necessarily having a great day every day. Possibly you're over here and you're thinking, do you know what? Maybe there's a bit more that I could give, like you've got a hidden talent and nobody seems to know about it. Possibly you're here and you're thinking, is this all there is to life? And maybe you're thinking, why am I here? Perhaps over here you've got people saying to you, who the hell do you think you are? I mean, you want to do what? Why don't you just be happy with what you've got? Maybe over here you're struggling to get out of bed in the morning because you're kind of like, same shit, different day. If you're here, imagine if you could be over here then, because if you're over here, what if you could wake up every day knowing that what you were doing is the right thing for you, where you can help other people, where people come up to you and say, wow, what happened to you? Like, you look amazing and you look great, and I don't know what it is, I can't put my finger on it, but wow. And what if over here you could inspire people? What if over here you are living, loving and laughing every day? What if over here you watch EastEnders and think, that's shit, because my life isn't as bad as that? If this is where you are, and this is where you'd like to be, would you agree that you might need to have a new strategy? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Just so you know, that's the interactive part of the presentation. It's quite lonely up there, just so you know. And you know the aeroplane's competing with you. So will you do me a favour and like just give me... I'll tell you the reason why. Just so you know, I was born in Fleetwood. I am a Lancastrian. Woo! Yes. I have this Yorkshire accent to fool the natives, because I live in Yorkshire. But I've got a red rose on the wall, if that makes sense. So what I want to make sure that you can understand me, I've got a new brace that was fitted yesterday. 54 years fucking old and a brace. But anyway, there's a story. Sorry for the youngster in the group. So I want to make sure you can hear me. And the other thing is, why is it that you're trying to fit in? Because didn't you come here to stand out? Life Expo. Be something more. So will you do me a favour, and if I ask a question, will you just say yes or no a bit louder? Particularly when this is flying over, yeah? Is that okay? Yes or no? Yes, I'm going to hold you to that. Okay, so why is it important to get from where you might be feeling slightly frustrated, or even more than frustrated, to where you are feeling elated every day? And the question is, how do you do that? Well, I'm here to share with you something that's called how to find your why. How to find your why to become even more freaking awesome. Because here's the thing, and I found this out a few weeks ago, quite recently, that a neighbour came to me. I was moving house and she said to me, I wish I'd known more about you before you were leaving. It's funny, isn't it, that? How you don't know people that are like around you. She said, because a few months ago I was really depressed. I was quite surprised because she looked okay. Raise your hand if you've ever looked okay and then felt inside a little bit shit. Yeah. So I knew that feeling. I'll tell you a little bit why in a minute. And then I started to look into this. 1 in 10 people in the UK are on prescribed drugs. 1 in 10 people, those prescribed drugs, are happy pills. According to the NHS work, you know, like the website, they don't know how they work. Or the truth is, maybe they don't work. But what I do know is that these prescribed happy pills are addictive. And if you try to come off them, then it can give you like terrible kind of consequences in some cases. So it got me thinking, why are people needing happy pills? Why do people need something else? And I believe it's because they are viewing their life. They're not in their life. It's like they're kind of like an extra in their own movie. Raise your hand if you're getting this. So let me just show you. I did a little bit of work on this. So I want you to imagine that you're in a movie at the minute and there's a choice. So you can either be in the audience watching. This is your life, not just now, right? And you'll probably earn between 0 and 25k a year. The reason why it's 0 is because you're paying the price. Does that make sense? You may be on the happy pills. You may not be you, but it may be somebody that you know, right? Maybe you're an extra in your own movie, which means that potentially you'll get paid between 25 and 50,000. Maybe you just do a great supporting role. And I think you already know who you are if I say that, right? And here you'll be earning between 50 to 500,000. And I can probably imagine you might be thinking, I wish. Here, if you're the star in the movie, then you're looking at more like 500,000 to 5 million. And then of course, if you're the director of your life, then of course the sky's the limit, isn't it? So why is this important? Well, the thing is, it's possible for you to get to that starring role because you've just got to make a choice, right? I want you to think about this for a minute. I want you to think of something that's not very nice. I don't want any, dramas. I am a clinical hypnosis therapist, but I don't want to put you into therapy. Just think of something that's not very nice and just notice how you feel in your body. Okay? And then very quickly, let's think of something that's really great that you love doing, yeah? Smiles come on the faces, you feel a bit better, you might sit up a bit stronger. Now I want you to think of something that's not very nice and something that's great at the same time. Raise your hand if you're struggling. Yeah. So the thing is, you have a choice. You have a choice in your life to be happy. So I want to tell you a little bit about why I'm here, because I'm on a 10 million mission to help people to go from stop saying and stop asking themselves, why me, to start saying, why not me? And I believe that you can do that with your own business. I believe you can do that if you work for somebody else, if you're a stay-at-home mum, if you're just a general, all-round, good egg human being, because you've got the choice. So let me tell you a bit about why I'm here. Raise your hand if you've ever been at a crossroads in your life. Would you agree when you're at a crossroads, you've got a choice, right? You can go this way, you can go that way, you can come forward, or you can go backwards. Well, as Will Rogers once said, even if you're on the right path, if you sit still, you're liable to get knocked down. I want you to come back to November 2011, and I'm a car crash waiting to happen. I'm at an event, I'm sitting on the front row at the Troxy in London. Now, the Troxy is one of these Art Deco theatres, the ones with the sweeping staircases that come down. The kind of ones that, if you're old enough, maybe not, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers was come dancing on, right? But today it's not dancers taken to the stage, it's speakers. And I'm sitting on the front row next to a young Indian lady called Ayosha that I've just met. Who do you reckon's on next then, Cheryl? I have no idea, but I hope it's Bob Proctor, because I got up at 6 o'clock this morning and I hate wasting my time and I hate wasting my money. Oh, hang on a minute, I think they're about to announce. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Mr. Andy Harrington. And the crowd are whooping and hollering, and I'm thinking, why am I here? Because you see, whooping and hollering isn't something that I do in my daily life. In fact, most days you find me sitting at the end of a really long table with a man at the end that I can only call Dracula. That's right, it's my boss. Oh, God, is it lunchtime yet? Oh, it's only 10 minutes since I looked at my watch before. He's not speaking to me again. I wonder what I've done wrong this time. Oh, hang on, I think he might be breathing. Cheryl, I need to have a word with you. When I called you from China last week, it took you 23 minutes to answer that call. Unacceptable. I'm sorry, it was like 7:30 at night and I was with my friends. Friends? You haven't got time for friends. We're here to run a bloody business. You've got a company car, death in service, booper, 6-figure salary, no time for friends. You ever had a time in your life when you wanted to get home? Like the comfort of your own home. Raise your hand if you've ever had a time like that, yeah? So there I am, I'm back at home that night with my 2 best friends, Gordon and Stella. Now, Gordon's got a white cap and big shoulders, and when I'm with Gordon, well, I feel kind of chilled. And then there's Stella. Well, she's a bit more European, so she makes me a little bit more feisty, if you like. So as I pull Gordon towards me and unscrew his white cap, suddenly, as the gin hits the bottom, life feels so much better. Stella, I'm coming to get you. Now, I'd love to tell you that that was the only night that I drank. But if there was a why in the day, well, me, Gordon and Stella, we were having a threesome. Anyway, I'm back at the Troxy. Andy Harrington's doing his thing. And then he looks at me and he says, if you were to die tomorrow, who would mourn your loss? I've got about 43 friends on Facebook, Ayosha. What do you reckon? I've heard if it rains, nobody turns up. And you're from the north, so you're screwed. And then he looked at me and he said the words that changed my life forever. If that number is small, it meant you led a life of small influence. Have you ever felt insignificant? Like as if you didn't even exist? What Andy said on that day also was, there are 2 days that are important, the day you are born and the day you find out why. But there's also another day that's really important. When will be the last day that somebody ever mentions your name? Wow. I felt like I'd ripped my heart out and ate it in front of me. So I joined the Public Speakers University because that was an event that he was selling, right? So you find me at the Public Speakers University because I kind of got to that stage where, would you agree that if nothing changes, then nothing changes? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Hey. And so I decided I have to make a change. So I'm at the Public Speakers University. Now this place is full of completely different people. I mean, they're speaking a different language, right? I mean, apart from them being down south, so that's a whole different language. They were quite positive. I wasn't really used to that. There was this guy called Miles. Have you seen the Where's Wally character with the glasses and the stripy shirt? He always reminds me of that. But this guy's no Wally. I feel like I'm being interviewed, right? Cheryl, so you've come to the Public Speakers University, so tell me about your branding. Is your branding sorted? Branding? That's what we do to cows up north. Okay, well, maybe the branding's not sorted then. What about your business? What about your business? How are you getting on with your business? What's your business about? Business? I don't have a business. Oh, okay then. So if you don't have any branding and you don't have a business, what are you doing at the Professional Speakers Academy? That's easy, Miles. I'm here to find friends for my funeral. Maybe you need to think about the reason why you're here, Cheryl. Have you ever had a time when things kept coming up and it's like the same word and it's almost like the universe is trying to show you something and you just ignore it, don't you? So there I am, I'm trying to keep one foot over here with Dracula, I'm trying to keep another foot over here to try and move into this direction where everybody else seems to be going, and I'm trying to keep over here and I'm trying to keep over here, and before you know it, have you ever been in a really uncomfortable position? Yeah, at 54 that's probably as low as I can go actually. So the thing is, you have got choices, right? I mean, did I choose the death in service, the booper, you know, all the salary, or did I choose a penis? You guys should know this. In Yorkshire, we drop our H's, right? Or did I choose happiness? I start to move. I start to press forward. I start to do some speaking. I start to do Ann Summers parties, actually. So I'm speaking in front of a few women at a time. And the problem is, when you first start a business, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, it's like trying to push, you know, snow up a hill, really. You know what I mean? It seems okay, but like it's just like you just start and you stop and you start and you stop. And so what I found was that there was something that was blocking me. And at this stage, I didn't know what that was. That's when Marion came into my life. Now, Marion, let me describe Marion. She's like a female version of Indiana Jones. Flowing long frocks, boobs bigger than mine, do you know what I mean? Just wants to hug you and look after you. And I did meet, when I first met her, I did think she was rather big for a yoga teacher, because I always thought yoga teachers were like this, yeah? But she's very flexible. Ches, I've been looking at you and I can see you've done loads of stuff. You've been doing this NLP and you've trained to be a hypnotherapist, but it's kind of like you keep getting stuck, and I've just started my business, and so I wondered whether or not me and you could maybe get together. But I tell you what, let me show you what I do. Come round my flat, Angel Islington, 7 o'clock. So I'm in this flat, and let me describe this. It's busy, it's messy. There's books of ancient wisdom over here. There's trinkets from all around the world. There's a mural on the wall which she tells me that she's drawn around her own backside, and I'm thinking, why am I here? Ches, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called body testing. Maz, you do know I like men, don't you? In fact, I've had 4 husbands, that's how much I like men. Yeah, you're all right. It's nothing like that, so do I. Right, okay, let me just test. Okay, what it is I think it's something to do with the energy that you give to others. I've got to be honest, at this stage, I'm thinking, what a crock of shit, to be honest. Because it's like, woo-woo, whatever, yeah? Or, I think it's that you've got to be careful. Careful. My mind goes back to when I'm 5 years old. Cheryl, Daddy's gone away to play with the soldiers. Mummy's got to go to work tonight. When you come home, I need you to put this key around your neck, and I need you to let yourself in. Just so you know, we didn't live in a castle, it wasn't this key, right? I want you to be brave. Don't say anything. Don't tell anybody. It's our secret. That day in the flat with Marion, I realised that I'd been careful all my life. I never felt good enough because my mum never spent time with me. I never thought that what was out there for other people was available to me. I never felt the same. I felt a bit different, if that makes sense. I'm not blaming my mum at all. She did what she could. Back in the day, we were all latchkey kids in some shape or form. But it had held me back. Ches, does that mean something to you then? Yes, Maz, it does. I've kind of not really felt connected with people before. Well, I've got some news for you as well. We've got this thing called genetic blueprinting, and I've been looking at your chart, and you are a guide. And you're a guide for a community. Like, if people are in your tribe, you're going to look after them. It's all here. Let me tell you now. Wasn't quite sure about that. So here's what I did. I actually went and found somebody in America that wouldn't know me, and I asked them to tell me who I really was. And they got me down to a T. Have you ever been in a situation where someone says, oh, I think you're this, this and this, and then you go, have they been stalking me? Have they been in my house? Do you know what I mean? Start double checking your doors, don't you? And looking behind you. This completely changed my life. Now, I'd love to tell you that overnight it was like, woo, everything's brilliant. But life isn't like that. I'd start and I'd learn something, and then I'd test it out myself, and then I'd test it on a few other people, and then that would start to work. And then we did our first event, and we had people coming to join us to join a retreat. 3 people came. Then it was 5, then it was 10, then it was 20, and now we do retreats all over the world, including Marrakesh. Some ladies here have been there. Raise your hand if you've been there. And we help people to stop saying, why me, and start saying, why not me? So let me give you a couple of examples. When you find who you are, and I mean who you really are, this is what happened. In my chart, it told me that I should be standing on a stage and helping other people and guiding other people. This is me in Poland speaking at an event called Queens of Life. This guy here is a relationship guide, Alan Pease. I had his book at home, but I'd never read it. You know, those kind of books. Shelf development, that's what they are. I spoke on the stage with Marie Diamond. I think some of you may have met Marie Diamond. I think she came to do some events, didn't she? And she came up to me afterwards and she said to me, I loved your talk, can I sit with you? And I was like, yeah, I'm just having my tea though, if that's all right. And she kind of looks like your great aunt at a wedding, doesn't she? She's always like kind of dressed for a wedding, that's what I think. So she sits down, she goes, my name's Marie Diamond. I went, bloody hell, that's a great name, isn't it? And then she started to talk to me about The Secret, Feng Shui, and I'm like, shit, I'm supposed to know who this is. I have no idea. So I do the thing that all great women do. I went to the toilet and I Googled her. And then I came out and I was like, oh, I didn't recognise you with your hair. Oh dear, the things we do to not tell the truth, right? So then she said, I'd really like you to join the Association of Transformational Leaders. Me? Some old bird from Barnsley, really? She She was like, yes, I think you can inspire people. So I joined the association. This is us. We brought a book out just before Christmas, 38 transformational lessons. You might recognise some people there. And it went to #1 in America on the same day that we published it. In America, in self-development. I mean, my God, that must be like the haven of self-development, right? So I'm now a director as well. This is Marion. She's not wearing a flowing dress there, but that's in Marrakesh. We created a system to help people to find out how they can be the stars in their own lives too. There's Marrakesh. There's some of these ladies here today, actually, so you might recognise some of them. There's Karen, who's in there. We do one-to-one mentoring group retreats. I've won a few awards. I'm really grateful for that. Oh, this is funny. We look like we're going to a Harry Potter movie, don't we? Do you know what? When you start living the life that you should live, things become easier. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yeah? Because it's like things start to come attractive. So this lady said to us, I want you to be at this place on this particular day at this particular time. And I'm like, oh, I'm a bit busy. You know, when you get busy doing nothing. Anyway, we got cajoled, we turned up, they give us these robes, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Next minute, okay, so welcome to the honorary doctorate ceremony for global peace and leadership. Me? You, Maz? So off we went and we got our honorary doctorates. It is interesting. When we got the doctorates, there was 2 camps of people. Well done, congratulations, you deserve it. And have you been to university? How many hours have you spent doing this? How much did this cost? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, I'll tell you something, I didn't pay for my doctorate. I presume you can buy them. But I tell you what you can't pay for, a genuine desire to help other people. So I wasn't actually going to bother using the doctorate, but, you know, hey-ho. I'm kind of in the bracket of Doctor Who and Dr. Zeus. That's kind of where I put myself. But if it gets people to notice and want to do some work with me, then that's great, because I know I can help them. What I really like is when I help other people, though. So this is just a selection of people who have helped to go on and win awards, create books, you know, really like do what they want to do and what they should be doing. I work with OBEs, MBEs, ABCs, in this case probably WOWIes, probably not at my age, but anyway. This guy's interesting. Kirk, I met Kirk a few years ago. On the outside, you know, he's like Men's Health winner 2010 or whatever. He looks fit, right? But on the inside, he was in pain. Lack of self-confidence, can you believe? Getting your kit off every day. You know, really not feeling the love. Felt he was trapped where he was. He was working in Coventry at the time where he'd been born, and he wanted to move to London. So we did some work with him, and now he's in London working with movie stars and living the life that he really wants. And what is even better for me personally is that he's found a woman to be with now, because he didn't trust women. There you go. Oh, this guy up here is a guy called Salif Jow. He used to play for Liverpool. Don't know if that's a bad thing to say in Manchester. But when I met him, I didn't know he was a footballer. The sad news is I'm supposed to be a Liverpool supporter as well. But what he did was I worked with him. He flew me into Senegal to work with him. And then here, you can't really see the picture very well, but that's my dad and my nephew. And he took them to Anfield to watch like a Legends game. And my dad, who's 78 years old, a man of very few words, he actually said to me, Cheryl, that was the best day of my life. And I said, what, even not the day I was born? He went, it beats that 10 times. I was like, okay, fair play. He goes, I could only beat it if I actually played on the Anfield pitch. And I said, I think Dad at 78, that's probably not going to happen. So it's great because things happen and then you can help other people. I've been on magazines, I've been on even on the BAFTAs, darling. I've sworn on the BAFTA stage, there you go, what a claim to fame. Been on Sky, done some work with lots of other people. Oh, the funeral's got a little bit busier. There's 3 tickets available for the, no, I'm joking. I gave up drinking, yay! Because what I realised was that the drinking was a distraction, right? It was just a way of trying to not feel empty, trying not to feel lack of connection. So I do like that. This is in Sorrento. I was in Sorrento a couple of years ago. It's my my goddaughter's wedding. And we're stood at this crossroads, me and Mr. C. And he's going, I'm sure it's down here. And I'm like, no, I think it's over there. And then I saw this woman in the crowd with a few other people. I went, let me just go ask this woman. Excuse me, love, could you tell me the way to this Oh my gosh. Cheryl Chapman. I'm like, is this candid camera? And then I thought, maybe it's someone at the wedding, do you know what I mean? And I was like, yes. And she went, oh, I saw you in Slovenia, you were on stage. You were talking about finding your why, your passion, the person you were supposed to be. She said, and you looked at me and you said, what's your passion? And I said, I like people. And you said, and what else? And I said, I like traveling. She said, and then you said the words that changed my life forever. Travel with people. Sometimes people can see things that you don't see. Does that make sense? So that was quite cool. So now I am on a 10 million mission to help people to stop asking why me and start saying why not. How do I do that? 10 million is a lot of people, right? Well, hopefully, if you take one thing away from here today and share it with somebody else, then you're helping me to get the 10 million mission. But I fly all over the world, sharing my message. I've been across Europe, I've been to Australia, South Africa. My husband lives in Qatar in the Middle East, so I do some conversations in Middle East. They're much shorter. I'm much more considered. I don't swear there. I don't really fancy being in jail. But it's still getting the message out. So all these places I've been in the last 18 months, and of course today I'm in Manchester. This is me when I was 2, actually. There's not a picture of me when I was 5 because I was on my own a lot, and selfies hadn't been invented back then. But if you look at it, and if you look at the pictures of you when you're little, you're usually smiling, aren't you? Unless someone's got a picture of you when you're crying, you know, just to show you when you're a bit older. But most of the time you're smiling as a child, and then life gets in the way, doesn't it? Yeah. So what was I distracting with here? Sex, drugs and sausage rolls, basically. Yeah, and not so much of the first and a lot of the latter. You can even see, I mean, someone sent me this photograph, and at first I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing, just hide it, delete it, you know, that's what we do, don't we? But I thought, no, I'll share it with you, because even I can see that the smile is forced. I'm trying to be happy. This is me now, and I was laughing the other day because I actually look like me when I was 2 again. Yay! Except I've got the braces and not the gap, do you know what I mean? And I actually now live in a house that's got cows, not lambs, at the back, which is quite cool. When you find your why, it's amazing. You feel on top of the world. I can't describe. Look, do I have bad days still? Yes, I do. I nearly fell off the stage then. That would have been a bad day, wouldn't it? You know, of course I do. I'm human, right? We're here having a human experience, all the highs and all the lows as well. But if you don't find your why, then you may end up living somebody else's. I tried to do what my mother thought was best for me. I tried to impress my dad. I tried to impress my teachers at school. I tried to hang around with people who thought it was better. When I first started doing what I'm doing now, some of my best friends came round one day. My husband suddenly turned... When I went on the speakers course, he said to me, you've invested in a speakers course. Don't you think it would have been better to sign up for a shut the fuck up course? And I was like, no. I mean, and now, you know, we travel all around the world, we go on lovely holidays, we bought a great place, you know, down the road in Huddersfield, and now he's like, oh, do you know? And he started showing these friends, this is Cheryl on a video, and I'm like, oh God, do we have to really? And my friend said to me, when are we going to get the old Cheryl back? I said, what do you mean? Well, you know, the one who used to get drunk on a Friday night and a Saturday night and like everyone would laugh at, do you know what I mean? I said, she ain't coming back. She's gone. I said, because what I like to do now is put a smile on somebody else's face that stays on their face, because it's what's true about them inside. So now I do have the key, but it is the key to happiness. Happiness, not happiness. So how do you become a director of your own life or a star? I've got 10 minutes. We worked out there are 3 things that you need. First of all, you need awareness. If you don't have awareness of who you are really, and also where you are right now, because finding your why is about where are you right now, what's working for you, what can you do more of, what's potentially holding you back, and it might be something as insignificant as, you know, what happened to me when I was a child. But let's be honest, when you're 5, if you drop an ice cream, it's a trauma, right? So it could be something that's just holding you back, that niggle that whenever you start to do something, you think, I tell you what I'll do, I'll just go put the kettle on. Or I tell you what I'll do, I'll just go for a walk around the block, or I'll clean the house 3 times, even though I don't like cleaning. The distractions, why is that? We can find out why. And also, why are you here? What's the real reason? Because if you don't know, you'll just go through life and life will happen and you will be an extra in your own movie. The second bit is an intention. If you don't set an intention, then it's a bit like getting on a bus and not knowing where you're going to get off. People call this goal setting, but we believe that intention is much more than just a goal. The goal is kind of like what you do, the intention is what you want to see. And if you don't get the feeling of where you want to be, then it's probably likely that you won't ever get what you want, because you've got to really feel it. Finally, how to manifest. Now, when I say manifest, that's just because it's one word and it fits in with this quite nicely. I have a version of this, and it's called, you might want to write this down, you have to move your ass. You've got to get into action. You've got to start moving towards what it is that you want to have. Because if you just sit there and you become a viewer of your own life, it doesn't happen. And along the way, you know this already, right? Raise your hand if you've ever started something and then suddenly you've fallen off the cliff and you've had to pick yourself back up again. It would be so easy to go back, wouldn't it? I'll tell you what it reminds me of. You know, World's Strongest Man? I mean, I don't know why, but I've always watched that as a kid, honestly. As I've got older and the men have got a bit younger, I felt a little bit disconnected, but I still watch it. Because it's a habit, right? So they start to pull that truck, don't they? And you see them, they're right low down and they're pulling, and you think there's no way they're going to move that. And all of a sudden they get the momentum, don't they? And they're off. Because you see, to start something takes probably over 50% of that energy. And what happens if you don't know about how to manifest is you'll start something and then it'll be, oh, bright shiny new thing over here, bright shiny new thing over here, and before you know it, you've wasted all your energy and you've not got anywhere. So manifest helps. We created a number of systems. We created the compass clarification to help you to know exactly where you are right now. Most people don't take time out for themselves. Raise your hand if you help other people. Raise your hand if you don't help yourself. Keep your hand up. Yeah, it's usually all of us. I put 2 hands up to begin with. So where are you? What do you need to be able to keep your energy, to be able to keep yourself fulfilled? To have life balance, if you like. Next, conscious realization strategy. I want to share a bit of this with you. It's kind of bringing body and mind together, but it's really about the body and the main thing. So many of us make decisions. How many times have you thought to yourself, is this the right thing? Is this the right thing? Is this the right thing? I'm telling you now, here's a fundamentally flawed approach, and I was doing this up until 2 years ago, writing a list of fors and againsts. Raise your hand if you've done that. I'll just put both hands up here. Where the hell does the information come from? It comes from the same mind, doesn't it? So whatever your mind really wants you to do, oh look, suddenly there's more on that side, I'll go for that then. There's a much simpler, quicker way, and that's using the body. And when you can use your body to say yes or no, it takes it out of your mind, makes it much easier. If you don't, then you start distracting with the sex, drugs and the sausage rolls, and obviously I know all about that. This is Dee. Now Dee came on our retreat 2 years ago. She wanted to write a book, she'd started to write a book, she hadn't finished the book. She came on the course and then she wrote the book, because I have a really neat strategy that makes you write the book or do whatever you want to do, but in a way that I will support you and kick you up the ass at the same time. She won an award for her book a few weeks ago. I was there. Oh, you know when you just start crying, I don't have any kids. I haven't got time for kids. As in, I don't physically have time, not that I don't want them. My nephew is the apple of my eye. I love him. We actually live in the same house now. But the feeling I got when she got that award, I imagine is what you get when you have a kid and they do something that just makes you like fill up with joy. And she's just saying here, thanks Cheryl Chapman, I can definitely vouch for this. Strategy for getting my book done and dusted in 18 months after 18 months of procrastination and striving for perfection disappeared in 6 weeks. And thanks to the Live Love Laugh Lounge, that's where the wise women hang out. And Cheryl's accountability, I've been constantly uphill. As mentioned in my speech, I wouldn't have won this award without the Find Your Why Foundation. So that's just a little example of what that can do. Purpose realignment keeps that mind and body together, keeps you on track. A couple of ladies here, basically, as a business owner, it can be easy to get caught up doing the same thing you've always done and often hard to see the wood for the trees. Basically, if you go down here, Cheryl, from the bottom of my heart, give me the no-nonsense advice. If you don't like straight talking, don't come anywhere near me. I'll show you your bullshit, because I recognise it. You know when they say don't bullshit a bullshitter? Yeah, I recognise that because I did it for 48 years. But if you want the honest truth about where you are, where you can be, who you can really be, I'll call you on your bullshit every time. I'd like to say I'm a silver hand in a velvet glove, but I don't know if there's actually a velvet glove, to be honest. Finally, the successful sensation system. Raise your hand if you've ever done a vision board. Yeah? Let me give you one tip right now. Vision isn't enough. I did a survey. Most people look at their vision board. It's flat. It's just glossy pictures. Main things that they do wrong, they don't have them on it. So you've got to have you on your vision board. That's one thing. And also, when you look at it, if you go, shit, I wish that was my life right now, it ain't never happening. Because you've got to already be there. That doesn't mean to say you start spending £1 million pretending you're a millionaire or a trillionaire if you're already a millionaire. It means you've got to know the feeling of abundance. You've got to know the feeling of gratitude. Every morning, 8 a.m, apart from today when I got lost on the way here, I get into the Live Love Lounge and I say, hello, today I'm grateful for this, this and this. And then the tribe join in and tell me. Got to get in the habit of that. Marie Diamond, she told me I was sitting in the wrong place in my office. I moved the chair, I got a phone call. Hello, Cheryl Chapman, can I help you? Oh yes, I was expecting your call, yeah. So you want to work with me? Great. Yes, I can do that. Yes, great, okay. Yeah, that's great, yeah, okay. We carried on talking, and at the end of the call, I said to her, I suppose you want to know what the investment is? And she said, I already know it's £10,000 to work with you. I didn't even have to talk about it. Feng Shui, amazing stuff. Brings it all to the front. That's where I live now. I'm not doing it to brag or anything, you might live in a bigger house, but I imagined this in my mind. I wanted a space where I could see nature, where I could connect to nature, where I could feel calm and peaceful, where I could invite people to my home so I could help them to change their lives too. And I'm only showing it because it was only when we moved into the house that I thought, shit, that's the picture on my senses board. And I went to look at it, and it isn't. But it's pretty close, right? The whole of this system helps you to be who you are, not who other people want you to be. Just very quickly, and you can come to my stand to find out more, there are 5 different types of people in the world. You're either an initiator, you have ideas, you either put plans together, you're an architect, you might be someone who's a specialist, and if you think about building a house, these are all the people you would need. You might be the builder who puts the bricks together, or finally you might be the neighbour who looks over the fence and says, great view, how about putting a fence around it? When you know which type you are, you will know exactly what strategy you need to become the best version of you. These are the ladies who came on the retreat. Every single one of them has made a difference in their lives. Whether or not that be improving relationships and getting to like pink wheelbarrows, but we'll tell you about that later. Launching new businesses, creating online products, leaving toxic relationships, setting up business, training to work with animals, which was in her chart and in her story all the way along. When she said to me, I've started working with horses, I was like, yes, at last! Anyway, sorry, just me. You had to be there, I know. And finally, just all please stand up. I'd like you to put your hands on your hips. If this is the only one thing you do in the morning, preferably in your knickers, maybe your bra. Not in your case, sir. Yeah. You can be Superman. Or you can just be hanging out, I don't care, whatever it is, sir. Pop your hands on your hips, and I want you to just say exactly what it says on there after 3. 1, 2, 3. Today, I am awesome. Now let's do it as if you actually mean it. 1, 2, 3. Today, I am awesome. Because if you remember, give yourself a round of applause, by the way. And take a seat. If you remember, you can only have one thought, positive or negative. I hope you'll choose positive. Thank you so much for listening to me today.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. That was very, very inspiring.